The Patriots held their last practice of the week before their first preseason game on Thursday night against the Texans, and our George Bilecki and Dakota Randall have more from Foxborough.
George Bilecki here with Dakota Randall. Last practice before the first preseason game for the Patriots, so we decided to sit down and really break things down from what we saw. Dakota, a heavy 11-on-11 day today, going full contact, in full pads. Bill Belichick, before practice, saying still up in the air of who's playing and how much, but what did you pick up from what we saw in 11-on-11 drills for what it may show for Thursday night against the Texans?
Yeah, what we do know about that game on Thursday night is that C.J. Stroud, the second overall pick in the draft, will start for the Houston Texans. As far as the Patriots are concerned, still a little unclear. That's to be expected with them, right? Bill Belichick said that the players with the least amount of experience will play the most snaps. That's the case every year, so that's not breaking news. But I'd be surprised, I think, if Mac Jones in the starting offense plays much at all. I mean, maybe they get out there for one series. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they don't play at all. But I think this is going to be a lot of Bailey Zappi. He got a lot of run these last couple of days. So did Trace McSorley in those 11-on-11 periods. And I think one player who I'd put money on playing right now is Malik Cunningham, who's listed as a quarterback. We've seen him at receiver throughout camp, but the last couple of days he's seen his usage at quarterback really ramp up, and I think that could be an indication that he's going to get some work at quarterback towards the end of that game on Thursday night.
Yeah, asked Bill Belichick, is Mac going to start and play? And all he said was, yeah. I don't know. So
right, we thought he was confirming, and then he pauses it out of us. So we still don't know.
It's up in the air. Probably very unlikely. Now we speak about who we'll see under center. Protecting him though, that's still up in the air. Trent Brown finally taking reps in 11-on-11 periods, but then also tapered off when we saw the first team offense back out at the end of practice. What do you read from what we're going to see from the offensive line, what we saw from today, and hopefully into Thursday?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, yesterday Trent Brown said that his limited participation, very limited participation during camp has been about an injury and not about a contract. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a little bit of both. From reporting from Andrew Callahan of the Herald is that he's dealing with a minor injury. So that checks out, and I think the Patriots are being extremely cautious with him because they really need him. I mean, his importance on this line can't be overstated, and we've seen it in the practices that he hasn't been out there. The offensive line has been, I think atrocious is fair. I mean, it's been that bad. Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi taking a ton of sacks. They rarely have any time to throw. No matter who's been in there, whether it's been Riley Reiff, who was originally looked like he was going to get the first shot at right tackle. He's been demoted, and it looks like Connor McDermott has solidified that spot. We haven't seen Calvin Anderson at all. He's still on the NFI, whether it be Andrew Stuber, the second-year player, or Sidy Sow, a guard, a rookie guard playing at tackle. Really, no matter who's been in there, it hasn't been good. And so I wouldn't expect Trent Brown to play on Thursday night. I wouldn't expect him to play too much at all during camp, really, because I think they need him so much. They cannot afford for him to suffer a training camp injury and for them to enter the season with the line that they've been putting out there during practice. It's been that bad.
Yeah, when they first got to 11-on-11 periods, it was Bailey Zappi out first, then Trace McSorley. Mac Jones came out, and they were certainly working on deep ball throws, but there was no time for the plays to develop because simply the pass protection was that bad. He could barely get throws off, and if he did, they were off the mark, just missing on a few connections.
It's been especially noticeable when Zappi's been in there, and I think the more you see Bailey Zappi play, and this is I'm not trying to rip Bailey Zappi or feed too much into the Mac Jones Bailey Zappi controversy, but the more you watch him play, and we saw this in that Bears game last year, he has a tough time against, seeing over the offensive line. He's a shorter player, so already it takes him a little while to process what's going on and to look down the field and make a decision. And then when you add in the fact that there's a heavy pass rush and he doesn't have much time to throw, his flaws really get exposed. I think he's had a few really bad practices here. Again, it's not all his fault. The offensive line has been bad, but again, when there is a pass rush, I think a lot of his shortcomings really stand out, and that's been the case the last few days.
Now, there was big news this morning of a big name returning to the Patriots. We'll see what his role is like. Trey Flowers, signed by the team this morning. Bill Belichick confirming it. Hunter Henry, noticing the leadership he brings as they go back to Arkansas days when they played together. What do you see and how do you read a Trey Flowers signing? What could this mean for the team, for him, and also down the road?
Yeah, it's interesting. We're talking about a guy who I think he was a fourth-round pick of the Patriots in 2015, and from 2015, really, he didn't play much that season, but from 2016 through 2018, he was one of their best players on the team. I think he had 21 sacks total over those 3 seasons, won 2 Super Bowls. A great player, left to sign a lucrative contract, I think $90 million or something, with the Detroit Lions, and he's just injuries have derailed his career ever since then. I think he only played or was active for 4 games last season, so I don't think they're getting much at this point. He's still just 29 years old. Maybe he's healthy now. Maybe he can regain some of that prior form, but I think he's a roster long shot. He's going to have to beat out some young guys who are trying to gain roster spots, like Sam Roberts. Keon White is someone who's a lock. Veterans that I don't think are going anywhere, like Dietrich Wise. We'll see about Lawrence Guy. I just think that, the paths to him making the roster, there aren't too many of them, but you never know. Maybe he pops a little bit. Maybe he gets cut, lands on the practice squad. But it'll be interesting because, again, he was a very prominent member of the defense for a few years, and now he's back, so we'll see what he can do.
Certainly, if he makes it on a practice squad, he'd do a lot for Josh Uche, and as you mentioned, Keon White, just a rookie as well.
Yeah,
we've seen him in that mentorship role.
Yeah, and the players that played with him when he was here last time love him. Dietrich Wise, kind of paused and was like, he's a dog. He was a great player and he was here, brought a lot of intensity. Was kind of a exemplary Patriot in a lot of ways, which is why I think a lot of people were surprised that the Patriots didn't do what it took to re-sign him back then. But again, he went to the highest bidder. Didn't have a great career here. We'll see what he can do now that he's back in New England.
Perfect. All right, Dakota. So last practice before training camp, no availability for the Patriots on Wednesday. Thursday's things kick off. Dakota Randall and Zach Cox, they will be at Gillette Stadium for all your full coverage for Patriots football. Keep it locked on right here on NESN and NESN 360.
PNC Bank, helping to make banking easier.